Welcome to The Current Potential, the podcast where healing, aligned living, and intention meet the deeper current of who we are. I'm your host, Melissa Curtin. Here we explore holistic health, mind, body, heart wisdom, empowering stories, and what's current in natural healing, all to help you reconnect with your own inner current and potential. On this episode, I have the pleasure to sit down with Chaneckie Black of Ru'Cha Wellness and Nutrition Coaching. So Chaneckie, thank you so much for your willingness to have this conversation. I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Melissa. I'm so excited.
Could you share a little bit about your background and how you started your professional wellness journey?
Yes, I can. As the founder of Ru'Cha Wellness, I am passionate about helping people achieve optimum health through holistic approaches that prioritize nutrition, mindfulness, and natural remedies. To give you some context on my expertise, I am a certified wellness and nutrition coach, focusing on science-based strategies to help individuals develop sustainable habits, whether it's through weight management, reducing cravings, or boosting energy without restrictive diets. I'm also a certified yoga instructor, which has equipped me to guide my clients in my practice that blends movement, breath work, and meditation for stress reduction and just overall well-being. And so I integrated these elements into my program because I've seen first how they support the physical and mental balance. And in addition, my certification, it allows me to create like a personal one-on-one coaching plans, complete with recipes, goal settings, and ongoing support. Now, on the herbalism side, I am a certified herbalist and a certified medicine maker specializing in organic, chemical-free products like herbal tonics, teas, body butters, bath soaps, infused body oils, organic soaps, and so much more. And this background, it stems from my commitment to natural healing and craft remedies that complement nutrition and wellness routines. All of these certifications come from hands-on training, and it has shaped Ru'Cha Wellness into what it is today. And I just want to empower my clients to feel great and feel good in their bodies and in their lives.
So it sounds like what you offer is pretty robust. You have different certifications, you're drawing on your herbalism background, you're tying in the emotional, mental, physical aspects of what you're offering. Can you share a little bit more about the specific services and products that you currently offer?
The Ru'Cha Wellness and Nutrition Coaching Services, I'm offering one-on-one coaching, group sessions, yoga sessions, and I create customized plans around the client's goals, like managing their weight sustainably, reducing cravings, improving energy, and addressing specific health concerns through whole food nutrition, which is so important.
Absolutely.
And then we also have a Eat Well, Live Well Foundation, where we run an initiative like teaching families and children how to grow their own food via the community garden. And so we want to promote self-sufficiency and healthy eating at home. So this is where Ru'Cha Wellness comes in with the nutrient-dense food and learning how to eat and having a good relationship with food. And then on the product side, we offer all clean, organic, handmade items. And that's through my Chaneckie Bee. So you can find teas, body butters, soaps, anything you need for your skincare. And we specialize in the wellness for eczema. We have a plethora. We have the eczema soap, we have the eczema bath soap, the eczema oil, butters and sows, and it's all blended with the same ingredients. They're all natural. They're all chemical free. Okay. And all the steroids and things that the doctors give you over the counter, it has all of those components in it, but without the side effects, without the chemicals. And it's excellent. I mean, my clients, they have reduced the discomfort of the scratching. They felt more confident in their skin and comfortable.
That's wonderful that you create customizable programs for people through your coaching programs, but also provide some solutions. And I absolutely love that what you're offering is organic, chemical free, and you have an alternative for people outside of the traditional allopathic medical route for eczema. But I'd love for the listeners to learn more about how your own health issues served as a catalyst for what you offer in the wellness realm, including your healing products, because you mentioned when we first met that you experienced severe eczema yourself from when you were 6 months old. Can you share more about this for the listeners?
Oh, yes, I will gladly share. Okay. So, my health issues with eczema absolutely serve as a catalyst for everything I offer at Ru'Cha Wellness, including my healing products. It's the reason I'm so passionate about natural, holistic approaches. Eczema can make you feel like you're living inside of a shell. It robs you of your confidence. You stand out in the crowd for all the wrong reasons, constantly dealing with this visible irritation, itching, and discomfort that nobody understands. So I developed it at 6 months. My parents was very young, and they didn't really know how to heal it or take care of it, and they only did what the doctors prescribed. Yeah, take this cortisone. Yeah, put this on her skin. Um, you know, wrap her up in this or do this, but they really didn't have any type of healing effect. They just was masking the problem. And so I went through all of these allergy tests. And the allergy test revealed that I was highly sensitive to, a long list of triggers, Melissa. Citrus acid, chocolate, seafood, everything that came out the sea, nuts, grass, moles, dust, pet dander. Even the smell of seafood raw or cooked was sort of a reaction. Like I would just flare up. My lungs would flare up. I get the mucus in my lung. My eyes would get itchy and swelly. It's just everything was contributing to my eczema.
So how long did this last? I mean, you said you experienced this from 6 months. So your small child, was this going through your teen years?
Oh man, it went through my teen all the way up until adulthood. Okay? Adulthood.
And you tried everything at that point, right?
I tried everything, and it just would give me like whatever the doctors was giving me, it would just give me short-term relief. So I suffered through my entire childhood, teenage years, and well into my adulthood with this and nothing.
And nothing through the traditional approach had helped you?
Nothing over the counter helped me. I mean, it will calm it down, but not really get rid of it per se.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it was addressing more of the symptoms, of course, and not the root cause, right?
Exactly. That's what I was going through. And so I had to find a root cause myself. I had to start investigating what I shouldn't be around. And so it did get a little better as I got older because I was able to control my environment more.
Well, can you share kind of what was that turning point when you had to seek like serious medical attention? Because we had a conversation some time ago and you had mentioned that there was a very serious situation that kind of flipped that switch for you where you had to make changes or your health was at dramatic risk.
That was pretty scary. I remember one morning, my son was in the second grade, so he's going to be 29 this year. So that was a long time ago. And I woke up with like this heaviness on my chest. And it was so scary. So I just laid there, Melissa, and I prayed. I said, God, if you get me up from this spot, I'm going straight to the doctor to figure out what's going on. So I ended up seeing a lung specialist who diagnosed me with sarcoidosis. Okay. It's an inflammatory condition with these clusters of cells. They kind of like a grapevine, and they get on your lungs and sometimes your other organs. And it can affect like your breathing, and your breathing gets heavy and restricted. And that's what I felt. I felt like an elephant was on my chest. So the doctors, they decided that they wasn't going to start me on medication right away because they said that the steroids treatment can make it worse. I'm like, okay. So they just sent me home and said, if we don't bother, we're not going to bother it if it's not bothering you. If it comes a case where you just can't breathe like every day, then there's a problem. We're going to have to treat it. But after that, I didn't have any more problems with it. But the thing is, I was shocked. Like, where did this come from? Like, sarcoidosis. How do you get this? And I went home and I started investigating and doing some research. And one of the things that stood out was the long-term use of steroids and cortisone. And Melissa, oh my goodness, that was the very thing that they prescribed me my entire life for eczema. All right. And so those steroids actually messed me up more on the inside than they did on the outside.
How long were you on the steroids for? I mean, that's not shocking if you were on them long term, right? That they would have some destructive properties.
So the steroids were going into my skin. I wasn't necessarily taking a pill for it. It was the cream, the overuse of the steroid cream that was going onto my skin that was soaking into my system. Okay? That gave me this effect of this nastiness of this sarcoidosis. So it wasn't like they was feeding me the pill. They was feeding it because your skin is your largest organ, and whatever you put on your skin goes straight into your bloodstream and into your system. So yeah, basically they was feeding you that.
Right. So yeah, it sounded like it overloaded your immune system to the point where it was like enough. You just got to that point where, when you have all these other symptoms, like you said, the chest heaviness and all of that, like your system just had enough. And for a medicine, it doesn't have to be a pill or an injection, because medicine is still, the chemical-based creams and all of the topical things as well.
Exactly.
So you mentioned the blood, obviously, because it's going through your skin. The skin is the largest organ of our body getting absorbed. And I remember you talking about cleaning the blood and healing from the inside out, because that sounded like that needed to happen at that point.
Yes, it did. And so I realized also after doing my research, Melissa, that my blood was contaminated. I wasn't healthy. My insides, my gut, my blood, everything was just off. So I started focusing on root causes like my inflammation, my gut health, and toxicity. And I just went into healing myself with food, whole foods, nutritious to repair my gut. I started eliminating my triggers, adding fiber-rich veggies, more fermented foods, more probiotics, taking more herbs and ginger and turmeric to reduce the inflammation. And I also found blood support, like detoxification with herbal root teas, like burdock root, dandelion root, red clover. These are classic blood purifiers that really help me, my liver and my kidneys, to clear out those impurities and that my skin could get better.
It sounds like this experience activated that curiosity and a fire in you, of course, when you're suffering like that, right? To find another and a better way to heal your eczema. And so with these tinctures that you created, is that how the herbalism journey started?
Exactly. So I had to, what they call it, be a biohack on myself. Anything that I am sharing with you is all through experience on myself. Okay. So once I experiment on myself, then I feel comfortable where I can share, with people. Right. And so what I had to get down to the bottom of was, what people suffer with eczema is called the itch, scratch, itch cycle. People don't understand how vicious this cycle is. What it does is it has this enzyme, and it's called COX-2. So it's called cyclooxygenase 2. And what it does is it ramps up the itching in your skin, right? And it doesn't matter like it's from allergens or just you mechanically just scratching. And when you do that, it has a friend. And it's called PGE2. And that PEG2, that's the friend of the cox, Melissa, it intensifies. Oh my goodness, it's so bad. This is why people don't understand how they're looking at you like you're scratching your skin off. You can't help it. Because the PGE2, what it does is it sends signals, hyper signals, like itch more, itch more, itch more. And so it promotes these pathways that that just that channels more itching.
Right. It just perpetuates that cycle, it sounds like.
It's horrible. And the more you itch, the more you scratch. And it's a cycle. And it's hard to break. But I found that one of the ingredients that helps with this itch, scratch, itch cycle is chamomile. It's just as strong as any steroid cream that's over the counter. And it's much safer for you. So if you have a chamomile tea to calm you down, you have some chamomile oil, and you put that on your eczema, there you go. That's one of the things that people can do at home if they're itching really bad and then it's driving them crazy and they can't get to the website or get to the store, get to where the products are sold. Please use some chamomile.
Are you saying that people can put chamomile on their skin or just make it into a tea or both?
You can make it into a tea. You can get some chamomile and boil it, infuse it like with some on low, very low. You can I can't use avocado oil because I'm allergic, but you can use an avocado oil. You can use a jojoba oil. You can use even a grapeseed oil. Okay. And olive, you can use that as well. As long as you get that base there, even coconut oil, you can do that as well. But make sure you do it on low and just boil it and get you some tea that chamomile is going to help relax you. It's going to help calm down that inflammation and the itch cycle that you have. And then you have the oil for your skin. And make sure you wet your skin before you put the oil on because the water needs to soak into the epidermis.
What other natural remedies beyond chamomile can you suggest?
Okay, I can suggest oatmeal. So during one of my classes I teach about the itch, scratch, itch cycle. And some people, have babies or young children who have eczema constantly scratching. And I try to make it fun for them as well. So you can do an oatmeal soak. If you have it on your hands, you can soak your hands in some oatmeal and just let it sit. It's so calming. It's so calming. And you can even add milk to it because of the fat from the milk. Mm-hmm. So just put your hands in a nice bowl of soupy oatmeal. And I promise you'll feel some relief. You can do that for your body as well. And some people don't have eczema in the same places as others. I want to talk about that a little bit. Some people have eczema in the hard spots. And the hard spots are considered your hands, your elbows, your knees, your feet. Those are considered the hard places.
You mean like the back of the knees or the front of the knees or the whole area?
The front of your knees. And then the soft areas are considered like the inside of your arms, your elbows, your neck, your torso. That's soft behind your knees. Okay, so those are considered your soft spots. And then some people just have it all over. Most of the time when they have it all over, they most likely 9 times out of 10 have spread it to themselves. So yeah, the COX-2 enzyme, the chamomile will help. The oatmeal most definitely will help. Most definitely finding your triggers and staying away from them. Watch what you're putting inside your body, and healing the gut is most important because that's where it stems from. The gut. It stems from there.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I want to talk more about the gut as well. But before we do, I wanted to just take a step back for people that are not that familiar with eczema, because some of our listeners may have eczema or may have a family member that has eczema and they know what that is because they see it in their day-to-day life. But can we just maybe define what eczema is? Because I think of eczema as just kind of raised, irritated, itchy, red rash, like in those soft
Yeah.
areas that you mentioned. Can you talk a little bit about like what is classified as eczema? And then I also want to talk about what are the misconceptions about eczema?
Eczema is basically, it's a blood disorder. It's a gut deficiency. And once your blood in your gut is not in a healthy state, it shows up on your skin. Okay. And so a lot of people don't understand or don't realize that they need to clean their blood and their gut first. So that's why they go straight for the creams. They think it's just topical. It's not topical because anything that you eat and you're allergic to it comes straight out into your skin.
Your skin is a detox pathway.
Yes, exactly.
Obviously, your liver and there's other organs that are involved in that, but like we said earlier, skin is the largest organ of the body. Your body's going to detox, like you said, what you're eating, what it's not agreeing with, it's going to come out of one of those detox pathways, and the skin is a main one of an exit point.
Right. And so once we learned that we have to clean the blood and the gut, it all works out. Your skin, everything changes. Everything changes once you, what they call that, clean the terrain, the natural terrain.
Well, it's multi-layered.
I believe it's the blood. I believe it's the gut. So that's the inside. And then I also believe that it's the outside, all the other things that you could be allergic to. And so when you have it coming from both directions, you can get a pretty severe problem of eczema like I had. You know, some people just have, it's just the blood in the gut. They don't have any allergies like to peanuts and fish and all this other stuff and pets and grass and mold. And, I had a whole list of things that I was allergic to. But now that I know, that started in my gut as a little baby.
Now, and gut health is related to everything. And of course, you can change your diet. You can unlearn family dietary patterns. You learn about lifestyle and good habits. And it sounds like gut health is related to skin health, definitely related to eczema and other skin conditions. But at least people, to be empowered to say, okay, I have this, but let's trace back. Let's find the root. And the root is not necessarily like, sure, it's a blood issue, a skin issue, a gut issue, but there's also the emotional, mental, spiritual aspects underneath. And I don't know what they are specifically for eczema. And each person that might be different. Even just emotional friction with people in their life or experiences that they've had. And then we're inundated with environmental toxins and allergens and triggers and all of this. And then underneath that layer, there's also the emotional, mental, physical, spiritual layer of the root causes, because the root cause isn't the disruption or the dis-ease in the body and the blood, right? The root cause could be trauma, could be abuse, could be emotional dynamics that don't serve someone in their life. And I feel, and often guide people and witness this in conversations that I have, that once people reconcile or identify what those root causes, those emotional, mental, spiritual layers are, and it's different for everyone. Similar to like dream interpretation, I would never tell someone, what the elephant in their dream means. This is for them to discover on their own path. But do you feel like there's a connection there?
I do. And before I talk about that, I just want to tell you, discuss some misconceptions about eczema. First of all, the first misconception about eczema, Melissa, is that it is contagious. That's one of the biggest myths. You cannot touch me and catch eczema. And so when people think that, they tend to stay away from you, and that just, it's like you shunned off from society. The only person that you can transfer eczema to is yourself. You can scratch your patch and then go someplace else and scratch another place and break the skin, and now you have eczema showing up there. And if those two patches are really close together and you're scratching, you can connect them. Okay? Now you have one big patch. And the more you scratch that patch and the more you drag up your skin, the more it spreads. So you can spread eczema all over your body. You cannot even have it on your face, but if your face itch and you break your skin and you've been scratching someplace else, now you got eczema on your face. It's easy. It's very easy to spread all over your body. Another misconception about eczema is that, like you said earlier, it's just dry skin. It's just a minor rash. There's no big deal. Washing it makes it worse. And people who have eczema are dirty. And it goes on and on and none of it is true. I can vouch for that. And it's a very sad misconception.
This might be a silly question because I'm someone that doesn't experience eczema, but have family members that do. Is it better to leave it open and air out, or is it better to cover it up so that it contains itself and it doesn't spread? Because if someone, right, is itching and scratching and then it's going all over the place, what's the best approach? Is there one?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Okay, so when it's weeping, okay, like it could be itchy and it could get wet and it could start weeping. Now, at that point, you want to keep it open so it can air out and dry. It's not really about keeping it covered and stopping the itching. It's basically when it's really itchy and dry like that, it needs moisture. So you must wet your skin. You just can't not just put cream on your skin and think that's it. You have to wet the skin first. When you wet the skin, it goes in. And I suggest that wet the skin first. Okay. Put your cream on, let it air out because it needs to dry. If it stays wet, it becomes infected, kind of. And if it stays dry and you scratch it too much, then you can infect it also. As far as spreading it, I suggest keeping your nails cut really, really low. Like you would do a baby, like you just got nubs. So you're not able to break the skin. If it gets too bad, put some gloves on, put a cotton shirt on, something all cotton, something that can breathe. Put cotton on your skin. I know that it's easier to say, don't scratch. That's the hardest thing to do. So that's why you have to start with the inside and then put your topicals on the outside.
Yeah, it sounds like healing the body, literally from the inside out. So you've learned so much from all of this. You've acquired so much wisdom from this experience of going through this eczema process. I mean, not just intellectually by studying and certifying in these various approaches and modalities, but you've transformed your own skin challenge into this purposeful, fulfilling path. That's what I see. You've been on this path of educating and helping others on their holistic health journey. Can you speak more about your why? Why do you do this work and what's at the core of Ru'Cha Wellness?
The core of Ru'Cha Wellness, it stems from my mom. She has so many serious health issues, Melissa, like diabetes, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, poor circulation, kidney failure, blood clots, which led her to dialysis. Okay. And towards the end of everything, she was taking about 24 pills.
That's terrible.
Yes. So, watching her suffer is really one of my main reason why I started Ru'Cha Wellness. And, even though my journey started earlier with my eczema, it taught me so much about my body, but my deepest catalyst is my mom. That's why, I do this. And if I would have known, what I know now back then, oh, Melissa, I could have healed my mother with food. I could have helped her gut health. She would have had herbal remedies and we would have been doing yoga, meditation. She would have, just a holistic lifestyle change. I truly believe that if I would have known those things that I know now, that I most definitely could have saved my mom. And, it's all through, like we said earlier, through the patterns, the traditional patterns of eating and preparing food. It's all of that. It goes from generation to generation, and we pass down this dis-ease from not preparing the foods properly. Okay, and it's just so sad. I could have taught her so much. I could have taught her about the pills and skills method. This is when you have these powerful conversations with your doctors. It's when you.
Mm-hmm. What is that? So what is the skills and pills method?
So basically, you go into your doctor, and the doctors always have they ask you the basic questions, but they always have their prescription pad ready, right? And so no, we're not going to do that today. We're going to go in there and ask that doctor, what can I do holistically or naturally to minimize the number of pills? What lifestyle changes or natural supports can help me lower the dosage? And so when you ask the doctor these kind of questions, this puts the doctor put them on a different path. It encouraged him like to think beyond the prescription pad. Let me think about what you can do here. And it puts you back in the driver's
Hmm.
seat of your health. And it shows that you're proactive, informed, and committed to make more than adjusting like to another medication. So when you go in there and you talk to those doctors, you try to change their mindset because they always want to ask you, how is this dosage? Is it working? Oh, no, it's not working. Okay, well, we go ahead and need to up it more. And here, try this pill to go with that. And that's how you end up on 24 pills. Okay? That's exactly how you end up with
Right.
24 pills. So my lifelong journey with eczema, my own health scare with sarcoidosis, my mother passing, it just sparked this mission. And so I just dove deeper into herbalism and became certified. And,
Mhm.
my certifications in yoga and meditation, all of this stuff is connected.
It's all connected, and it's an
Yeah.
incredible story. I did want to return. You did talk about the genetic component, and I did want to bring up the epigenetic part of that, which is we get these genes, but through lifestyle and the choices that we make, okay, this is the basis for epigenetics, that we have some say over, does this gene show up? Does it emerge right during our life? Can we shift our genetics? And I feel like we can. We're not just given this genetic quote unquote death sentence or negative set of genes. I feel like our mind, mind body connection, what we're doing, like we said earlier about unlearning family dietary patterns and relearning new good habits and behaviors. I feel like that is very powerful for people. And that's one piece. I want people to come away from this conversation being empowered to say, okay, so if your mom had diabetes and high blood pressure and all this, that is true. And that's her story. And we can shift and change and make choices that will provide us with longevity and vitality. Not to dismiss that it exists or be blind to it. It's important to know what your genetic risk factors are, but to have tools to navigate forward and be informed and be empowered and maybe do it differently to have a better outcome. That's how I feel about that. I wanted to get your thought about that.
Yeah, so I totally agree that your your parents' fate is not necessarily your fate. And when you most definitely know better, you do better, right? And that's where all of the education
Absolutely.
comes in at, right? Because if I look back at, my parents and my family and a generation of eating and taking care of themselves, it wasn't really they wasn't doing that. They weren't doing that. And so we followed that path. But, like I said, when I got older and I was able to have more control over my destiny, my faith, my body, and get to understand the things I need to do to about correcting my internal terrain, right? My gut and everything. And now I'm able to heal myself, heal others, and change the path, change the course of things.
Absolutely. But your mindset plays a big role. You are a very positive person. I know you in person, and every time I see you, you light up. You have committed to your health and well being, and that shows in the way that your energy is emanated. And we both have that perspective that the body can heal itself given the right conditions
Yes.
and environment. And right. So addressing the root causes,
Mhm.
correcting the terrain, so whatever you're exposed to has less influence and impact is something that I believe in. And I feel, it is possible for the body to heal. I mean, it's not an overnight situation because the issues didn't happen overnight, right? So it is going to take time. And of course, there is spontaneous healing in these miraculous situations that happen. But when you're healing holistically and naturally, so given this context, do you feel it's possible for the body to heal?
Yes, I do feel and I truly believe that the body has the ability to heal once you clean up and treat the body right. Okay. Such as your gut health, inflammation levels, you could change your nutrient status, even the stress. All right. Um, this is all the true path to healing. And so when we shift the focus inward, identifying and gently correcting the root causes through lifestyle changes, the body begins to heal itself naturally. That's why I guide my clients towards holistic, natural healing and encouraging them to gradually step away from over-the-counter reliance on the pharmaceuticals. And, of course, we're always in partnership with their doctors, especially when we're trying to taper the medication safely and using the pills and skills method, right? It doesn't have to be overwhelming. Those small, consistent changes help your body. The mindfulness, the breath work, the yoga and meditation, the better relationship with food, nutrients dense. You can start having more gratitude and compassion, right?
Absolutely.
Embracing a self of wholeness and knowing that your connection with your body is an ally, it's not an enemy. And these shifts, they create this fertile ground for the body's own healing intelligence to take over. I mean, I've seen it in my own journey with eczema and sarcoidosis, and I witness it every day with Ru'Cha wellness clients, seeing like less itching, clearer skin, more energy, better digestion. They reduce their reliance on meds, and they just have a profound sense of empowerment. So, healing isn't about perfection. It's about creating the right conditions
Definitely.
that is consistent. Let the body do what it's supposed to do.
And health isn't just physical. That's why we take the holistic approach. It's all aspects of the person's being and integrate them together so they can have long-lasting change and wellness, like we said before, and vitality.
Just like a tree that has roots, our body has roots. We have to get to the root cause of everything, okay? And if the tree is not going to grow, it's not going to produce anything if those roots are rotten, okay? And so this is why we dig deeper and we go to the root cause of the problem. And, health isn't just physical. It's deeply interconnected, Melissa, as you know, with the mindset, your emotions, and your mental well-being. The mind-body connection offer powerful opportunities for healing, especially when chronic conditions like eczema or other health challenges are involved. The stress, unresolved emotions, like we talked about, and negative thought patterns can amplify your inflammation triggers and keep your body stuck in disease. When you cultivate emotional awareness and calm it, you're able to, it calms you and break that cycle.
Right. And even just not focusing on the problem all the time, and focusing on the solutions and where I'm going, like you said, bringing in gratitude for the experience, for the opportunities. I feel it can really help someone on their healing journey.
Yes, Melissa, this is why, anything I feel that's going to make my practice better and encourage me and give me the knowledge to help people and get down to the root of the problem. So I went and got certified in what they call emotional intelligence. And this is alongside the coaching, the meditation, and it has been a game changer for my practice, Melissa. It equips me to help clients recognize and understand and manage their emotions effectively. All right. And these emotions, they directly influence their choices, like the stress level and their overall healing. And so in my sessions, we go straight to the root. We explore the deeper, why behind the unhealthy patterns, what emotional triggers are driving you to stress eating? What is driving you to skip your self-care or giving into cravings? What unresolved issues in life, such as grief, anxiety, overwhelm, past traumas, like we talked about earlier, or pushing you towards choices that don't serve your body? So we discuss these things openly and compassionately, of course, without judgment, just to bring the awareness to what's really eating, quote unquote, at them emotionally.
Right.
Right?
It's so important to address that. And the traditional allopathic, medically trained doctor is not asking these questions. They're trying to see somebody in 8 minutes, like you said, with their script pad. And it's so refreshing in the conversations that I've had with many practitioners and healers and friends that offer different modalities, that they are addressing the root cause. They are addressing the whole person. They are looking at all the pieces of the puzzle. Are you in an abusive relationship? What is the dynamic? What is your, day-to-day schedule, habits? All of these things are playing a role. Are you chronically stressed? I mean, I can speak from experience. I live with chronic stress, have lived with chronic stress for a long time, and I'm making better choices. Some days I slide back. I'm not looking to be perfect, but I'm looking to improve.
Exactly.
And stress too is at the basis for a lot of disease in the body. And I see how that shows up directly for myself and in other people as well. And we can shift our relationship. We all have stress, good stress, bad stress, and it's how we're responding to it. Like you said, how are we responding to these triggers? Some days it gets a little bit easier. Some days it's a little harder, depending on, the mental bandwidth, physical bandwidth, right?
If emotional and, your mental trauma lingers unaddressed, the body starts to stay in the fight or flight mode. The cortisol spikes, inflammation rises, your gut health suffers, and, the healing just stalls. And when you work through these layers, you get out of that stuck state. Okay. And that's why I incorporate the yoga and the breath work and the meditations. It just helps them to, get their body to understand that I'm safe, I'm supported, and I can rest and repair. It's so important.
Healing occurs when the body feels safe. And when people can put their shoulders down and step into that place. And healing is a process. It's not necessarily linear, but I feel like once people can relax enough and look at all the angles, it's a really powerful place.
Yeah, it's powerful. It gives you strength. I mean, it's empowering.
Are there any quotes or resources or words of encouragement that you would like to leave the listeners with?
Yes. Take it slow and grow. That's the key. Because every micro win builds you towards your macro transformation, right? And people get stuck like, oh, it's just a little thing. It's not gonna, but it does. It helps. You don't have to overhaul everything at night. Just focus on the small, manageable changes in one area at a time. And maybe it could be just like you swapping the processed snacks for a handful of nuts, or 5 extra minutes of gentle stretching or breath work, when you feel the stress creeping in. And it isn't a diet, right? This is not a diet. I don't teach people about diets. It's a lifestyle. Your lifestyle is forever. Okay?
Absolutely. Small steps make for big long-term changes that people can stick with and integrate in their life. Like I said, it's not an overnight process. The weight didn't come on overnight. The stress didn't come on overnight. The emotional struggles or tension didn't happen overnight. In some instances, yes, of course, there are acute situations. But overall, that holistic approach looks at the whole person, looks to revamp, but in a very gentle, small step, sustainable process.
Right. And, the gentle movements like yoga, eating your nutrition dense food, and, repairing your gut and nourishing every cell over time, like you transform right before your own eyes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right before your own eyes. And everything starts to taste better because you've recalibrated your taste buds. The body feels stronger, more energized, and you truly feel like you're full of life.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to add to what you're saying is, and have compassion for yourself during this process. A lot of us have very high standards for ourselves and are more harsh with ourselves than we are with other people. And on this journey, I think it's really important to be gentle, have compassion for yourself, and to understand that, like you said, this is a lifelong process. Making
Right.
changes for long-lasting transformation takes time.
Right. And this gentle, like when you're being gentle and consistent on yourself, you're not being hard on yourself. This path is real. It's lasting. The healing unfolds physically, emotionally, and mentally. Like it's all cohesive. It all goes together.
Absolutely. Chaneckie, can you share with the listeners what your website is, where they can go to find you?
Yes, my website is mychanekieb.com, and I'll spell that for you. mychanekieb.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chaneckie. I will include your website in the show notes along with your social media information. Thank you so much, Chaneckie, for joining me today for this inspirational conversation. I appreciate everything that you've shared about your own journey, what you offer, your products, everything. You are just an amazing human being. I appreciate you taking the time to share your background and your incredible journey.
Thank you, Melissa. It was my pleasure to be here today on The Current Potential. Thank you for having me, and I really appreciate this opportunity.
You're so welcome. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us today with Chaneckie Black with Ru'Cha Wellness and Nutrition Coaching. Thank you for tuning into the Current Potential podcast. If this conversation resonated, inspired your next step, or you know someone this episode can benefit, please share, subscribe, and find me on Instagram at The Current Potential for new episodes and related content, and on my website, melissacurtin.com. Until next time, be aligned, stay connected to your inner wisdom, and follow the current that supports your potential.